Another area that we changed was actually dedications. And dedications are requirements for development to actually contribute or set aside assets for public use. In the past, we had a single standard for open space and parkland. Now we've separated those two ideas. So we have an open space set aside for property, and we also have a parkland requirement in addition there too. In addition, as part of that open space requirement, we now have specimen tree protection. So we've identified species of trees, size of trees that we want to protect as a community. And so the developer can look at their property in that clear-cutting permit process and say, okay, I have 5 trees that I need to protect. And I'm going to protect those by putting them into an open space, a tree preservation area. And I'm going to design my project around them. Or if I have to, if I can't protect them, I need to remove them, then I'm going to replace them. I'm going to mitigate that loss by new trees within that open space area as well. So that's part of it. And then with the parkland dedication, we've increased the current requirement from 500 square feet per unit up to 800 square feet per unit, which matches the county. So that's an increased requirement on top of open space. So this is a new impact. Now the biggest area of change is actually on multifamily. In the past, we allowed multifamily development to consider the private infrastructure they put in place, the clubhouse, the pool, the racket court, or whatever they might put in, to count as public recreation amenities. What we've seen, however, is that it doesn't matter how nice the clubhouse is or the pool. If you have 500 units in an apartment complex, they're going to use the city parks and recreation resources. They bring their dogs to our parks, they play softball on our fields, they come use our recreation center to play basketball. So we didn't feel like it was appropriate. We really needed to have that multifamily participate in the public recreation process as well. So we've removed that allowance for allowing private amenities to satisfy public parkland requirements. So that's a significant policy change. So those are the dedication changes. Now, to mitigate some of that, what we've also done is we've capped by use the amount of impact. So if you're in a commercial area and you've got an open space requirement and you've got a parkland requirement, and you put those things on top of each other, and all of a sudden it's 25–30% of your project, that's too much impact. So we've put a cap at about 15% to say, well, regardless of what these two different ideas together say individually, working together they can't impact more than 15%. So we're going to drop our requirement back down to 15%. Again, trying to make sure that we balance the need for public resources and the impact on private development. So some new tools we brought to the table here is that we also have a new conservation subdivision. A conservation subdivision allows you to take an existing area that's fairly low density and create nodes of high density within that. So it doesn't allow you to put in more units, but it allows you to cluster those units in a way that reduces your cost of development and actually leads to significant open space preservation. So rather than having 20 homes spread out over an entire project, you maybe cluster those 20 homes in a 2-acre portion of a 20-acre site, and the rest of it stays open space and becomes an amenity to that development and the surrounding development. So this is a new idea that we hope will allow some of our farmland in the community to be developed in a way that's more sensitive than it has been in the past. We also have the new planned development zoning. I've talked about that several times, and that's basically, it's contract zoning is what it is, and not in a negative way, but basically allows us to do a development agreement with the developer where they come in and say, this is what I want to do, and we can say, well, if you want to do that, these are the conditions we want to put on that idea. If you do that with these conditions and with these amenities, then we think it fits with the community. And we have that agreement, and then we have a contract that has the enforcement of regulation to move forward and actually allow that development to occur. So it allows us to do new ideas. And then we have sustainable development incentives. What that allows is that basically, if you're willing to make your multifamily project, for example, LEED certified, and those who are, know what that means. It means adding things like energy efficiency, or if your project, you want to put solar cells on the top of it, you can get bonuses, development bonuses. So maybe you can add an additional 10 feet of height to your building. You can add some additional units. So basically, by providing sustainable elements to your project, you can also increase the density or the intensity of your use. Again, that balance between providing some public benefit and private development incentive. The other thing we've done is we've made it clear that once you develop something in association with or consistent with our new standards, you got to maintain it. You can't put in all of this landscaping and then let it all die. So we do have some maintenance standards that says that if you are required to put in a tree as a part of a site plan, when we come back and check it in a couple of years, there should still be a nice healthy tree there for the benefit of the community. So those are some of the new tools that we brought in. Let's shift a little bit into the area where we've had some feedback, of course,